Soap spoilers: Sean death shock in EastEnders, Emmerdale crash, Corrie arrest. Crash. Airs a life or death. It's a big week in soap, which also includes a arrest and a big decision, a new Dale's arrival and a big betrayal, a sexy Hollyoaks proposition and a devastating funeral, and an act of revenge in Walford, as well as new romance. Here is your latest set of Friday spoilers. Don't say we never. 1. Jack discovers. 2. Slater tears a 3. When Bernadette meets. 4. Lola is fuming. 5. Honey is torn. 6. After Jean injured. 7. When Billy gets 8. After Toya. 9. Sally is absent. 10. January arrived. 11. After Chesney. 12. Ken finds Pete. 13. Mary is confused. 14. As Eric is warned. 15. Kim is delighted to. 16. Megan is involved. 17. Dawn is conflicted. 18. Kim is delighted when. 19. Eric is rushed through. 20. Nicola doubts her. 21. It's a heartbreaking. 22. Prince is filled with. 23. Walter continues. 24. Maxine is reminded. 25. As Kyle is followed. Share your results. Sign up for our soaps newsletter here for exclusive spoilers and interviews. Sacked Emmerdale star issues new apology over offensive tweets amid difficult time. Maya murdered after her abuse of Jacob is exposed in Emmerdale. Sean Slater returns with a secret in EastEnders. Ads keep our content free for everyone. Please note that by the Interactive Advertising Bureau IAB describes online personalized advertising through the below definitions. We put the storage of information, or access to information that is already stored, on your device, such as accessing advertising identifiers and / or other device identifiers, and / or using cookies or similar technologies. The collection and processing of information about your use of this site to subsequently personalize advertising for you in other contexts, i.e. on other sites or apps, over time. Typically, the collection of information, in combination with previously collected information, to select and deliver advertisements for you, and to measure the delivery and effectiveness of such advertisements. This includes using the collection of information, in combination with previously collected information, to select and deliver content for you, and to measure the delivery and effectiveness of such content. This includes using the collection of information about your use of the content, in combination with previously collected information, used to measure, understand, and report on your usage of the content. Ads keep our content free for everyone. We carefully we use additional third-party advertising companies who serve ads to help keep content free. For these partners, you will continue to receive advertising, however, it may not be tailored to your likely interests. Well, check in with you. Great. Thanks for choosing. You have opted out from our advertising partners.
Raindrop, truck top, top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.